continue on with this fascinating episode here at Kimball's Farm. We want to see the inside working production of what you get when you come to the window with a few scoops here. I'm going to be talking with the fourth generation, Donald Kimball Lamburn, and he's the youngest out of the 9 grandchildren, and he understands the full operations along with his cousin Peter and Michael, and so he's offered to take us through a little bit of a tour of the arcade and the other activities that Kimball's offers. Donald?
All right. Thanks, Richard. Thanks for having me. So on your previous episode, you interviewed my mom. And so, you know, Kimball's is really a family business, right? So my grandparents started the business in 1939, and they had 3 kids, my mom being one. But then each one of the kids had 3 kids. So there's 9 grandchildren. I'm the youngest of the 9 grandchildren. And we all worked here, you know. So Richard, you and I were just talking about how my grandmother used to be down here as the rite of passage. I started at 8 working here on Sundays. And the banana table would be down there where we would slice banana, peel them and slice them, and then bring them to the tables down here so the scoopers could scoop them and get them out the door, out the window. So it is you know, sort of true family business. In 1986, my grandfather passed away, and that's when it sort of transferred to my 2 cousins, Michael and Peter, and that's when the growth really started to begin, right? And so that's when we started adding other locations, and so that's when Carlisle was added in 1987. Let's see here, Jaffrey was added in about 1994, and then Lancaster was added in 2010. So, but then during that time period, there was a lot of growth. My cousin Mike is kind of a visionary, and he's kind of a driving force, and so he left in 2018, but from 1986 to 2018, that's when the expansion really started to happen. We added all different types of attractions, like the corporate parties and the general store and the driving range and the pitch and putt and things like that.
So why don't we start with the ice cream?
All right, let's go over to the ice cream and I'll show you how the ice cream's made. Basically, back in the 80s and 90s, it was just myself and my cousin Pete that made all the ice cream for all the locations for here and everywhere. So basically what happens when you're making ice cream is we have a 14% butterfat mix that we get. It's actually in that cooler there. And what happens is we pump through this system of pipes. It goes into the vats. So there's 4 different vats there that are mixing, where you add the ingredients or extracts and flavoring. And what happens is it gets pulled from the vats. If you want to come over here, I can kind of just show you what it looks like. So I think this is butterscotch and then maybe butter pecan, I'm not exactly sure, but then there's black raspberry that's over there. The cream, after it's been flavored, goes through these series of pipes here, or hoses, into this is a pump right here. So this ice cream machine is probably about 80 years old. It runs at about 80 gallons per hour. So, you know, on a regular day, I think Jill said they make about 600-700 gallons of ice cream in a day. But what happens is it goes into, this is a barrel. You can see the ice right here that's freezing up. The cream goes in, sticks to the barrel. There's 3 blades that circulate. You can see it spinning right there, and it shaves it off, and it comes out like soft serve. So they're not making anything on this one right at the moment, but if you come over here, this is black raspberry that's coming out. But one of the things that we always decided was you could automate this, but we decided never to automate it, and it's all manual, so you literally spoon in all the ingredients. So right there is the butter crunch candies that go into the butter crunch ice cream. So then from here, after the ice cream, so he's taking the can and putting it in the freezer. So that freezer is 20 degrees below 0. So if we go in there, it's going to be chilly. And it stays in there overnight to do a quick freeze so it doesn't crystallize. And then we move it over to another freezer that's about 15 degrees above 0. So it tempers so they can scoop it. So let's go into the freezer. So you got somebody stacking the cans here. So somebody that after the ice cream comes out of the machine like soft serve, they go ahead and put it on the racks. So if you want to come in this way, I gotta try. Yeah, I gotta come through here real quick. Thank you. So it's 20 below 0. Like I said, And then what happens is it comes into here, into this freezer, after it stays in there overnight, or we say about 24 hours, but usually it depends. If it's hard enough, we'll go ahead and move it. And then it tempers in here. So this is what happens is after it tempers, we'll go ahead and move it to either the other locations where they can, scoop it from the dipping cabinets. So we'll go out this way. So in about 1990, after my grandfather passed away and after Carlisle opened, they decided to open the driving range. So we literally, that was a hayfield out there. That was my uncle's hayfield, and we literally just cut the grass, and it was my cousin Mike and I that actually built those tea stations. Like I remember, we had the headlights on the truck at 10 o'clock at night before it opened, building those stations, and then it opened the next day.
Yeah, that was the night before.
The night before, we were out there at 10 o'clock at night because we weren't done, and we had to get it finished. So that's what we did.
Your grandfather would say, "No time to rest."
Right, that's right. So I'm trying to remember. So this is. So I was involved in building this with my cousin Mike, and there's a couple carpenters that worked here. Also Pete was involved, and a few other folks as well.
But this is still part of the original barn.
No, so this was actually added. So part of it was. So it sort of ended there. This was actually just almost like a carport. It was. It wasn't enclosed, and so Mike decided, hey, we're going to do build a gift shop, and so that was, like I said, around 1990, 91. I remember I was in college, so between classes I was here, and we were putting they call purlins and the brackets and things like that, building this.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of show you these two cows. So these are not the original, they're plastic or fiberglass cows. The original cows were on the front yard that my grandfather had sort of in a cage. But these are two cows, and so my cousin Pete named Clara, which is the big one, which is my grandmother, and then Beverly, which is the calf.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so a lot of people wouldn't probably know that, but those are the cows' names.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the original was a cow story that Mom had told us earlier.
Right, exactly.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so the original cows were in a pen on the front yard, and they hooked up a chain to it and dragged them down 110. Yeah,
love it.
So they added the mini golf, and then the bumper boats are also were added. So then down here, it's called the Old Sawmill Arcade. It's called the Old Sawmill because it was my uncle's sawmill was right there. So as my mom said, when 495 went through and they were cutting the trees, my uncle decided to mill the trees, and that's where he did it, was right there. So a lot of the lumber at the house around here was used for my uncle that milled all the lumber.
So you start off with the mini golf and the innovative ideas that Michael has had, included like the driving range, the pitch and putt.
Yep.
And then you have the big catch along with your bumper cars. And we're going to get to try and take a look and see at some of those things.
Yeah, yeah, let's go. My cousin Mike and I were down in Florida, and we went to a place in Sarasota, and the guy was cooking burgers, and it was almost like the movie Cocktail. We were flipping things, and it was a whole entertainment thing. And so Mike said, you know what, let's go ahead and do the corporate parties, or do a grill, and then the grill sort of morphed into the corporate parties that are here today.
It's from my research also showed me there's the possibilities that you've had weddings.
Oh yeah, there's weddings here. I think that's a common thing. Westford Academy holds their cotillion here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I've actually been to some weddings that are here. So yeah, birthday parties, corporate parties, whatever. This last week they had like over a 2,000 person party that was here, so they can accommodate large parties.
And I understand from my research that you've also been asked to close down, but you want to keep it
right. Yeah,
public. You didn't want it
exactly.
To have it private.
That's correct. Yeah, so certain corporations would like to just have the facilities all to themselves, but it's open to the public. So we try and kind of fence it off, accommodate, but we don't close it to the public. I mean, we do. Yeah, we don't close it to the public.
I love it. It appears you have a lot of activities for all ages. And here we are at the zip line,
right?
Which is for the young adolescents and
adults. Yeah, I mean, that is one thing about the business, Richard, is that it's a fun business, right? When people come here, they come and have fun. When you and I were just walking through the mini golf, the people were laughing and, cheering and everything. So, if they're coming to get ice cream, that's it's usually always a pleasant experience, right? But yeah, in probably, I'm trying to think now, I don't know if it was around 2014 or so, Mike decided he wanted to add the Soaring Eagle. So one of the things he would do is go and check out things at entertainments, family entertainment conferences, and get different ideas and think about things. And so that's kind of how some of these things started. So the Soaring Eagle, then over here we've got the Spin Zone, which is basically like bumper cars. So we have bumper boats, but then there's also bumper cars.
You've got the marketing gene from your great-grandfather.
Or my grandfather, yeah.
Your grandfather, what it takes to go in. So these are the bumper cars for the teenagers and adults.
Yep. So my cousin Mike found that airplane in somebody's garage in Chelmsford. It was in pieces, and so put it together and decided to hang it from the building here.
I find one of the great takeaways from this interview, from the history right straight through to the operations and now here, it's like, you cannot, it's all about fun.
Right.
It's all about enjoyment.
Yep.
And it's all about family.
Exactly. It's
and
about family
I think that's a wonderful, what you offer in every age.
Right.
There's nobody left out.
Right, exactly.
So if you didn't have a good time, it's your own fault.
Right.
Where you've left them every opportunity to have fun and smile. And
exactly.
enjoy.
Yeah, so again, this is my cousin Mike that decided he was going to do the batting cage. It's funny, I was involved in a lot of different things, so I'm actually in high tech now, so I'm not here every day, or not involved really. I mean, just kind of on the outskirts of the business, but Mike decided he was going to do the batting cage and did this, so I wasn't involved in building the batting cage.
You have 3 children.
Two children,
Two children that come.
They come here, but they don't work here. They're busy doing other things. Yeah.
Right.
So so we, this is the golf shack, and so this shack used to be a little bit closer towards the ice cream stand, and my grandfather actually used to use it as a little getaway, right? Because he was working so hard. He had a little mattress and stuff in there, and so he would go in there and take a little nap and to get away from things. But then when they decided to open the driving range, we basically put it on telephone poles and skidded it out here, and so that's where that came from.
Here's the story that you were saying about using the headlights.
So Mike and I, when
midnight the night before,
10 o'clock or so the night before, we had the headlights on the truck, and we were still finishing building the platforms. And so I don't even know how many stations there are now, but there's probably close to 100, and then there's the grass tee area down there. Wow. So again, in the kind of the early 90s, Mike decided he was going to do a pitch and putt, and so added the 9-hole pitch and putt here.
Wow. It's a beautiful course, and I see how busy it is.
Yeah, so this actually used to be like a cornfield that my uncle used to grow corn, and converted it into the pitch and putt.
Love it.
I'd like to take this time to thank Donald Kimball Lamburn for his time and energy that he has given to us to make this production successful, and all the work that he has done to expand and build Kimball's Farm for our enjoyment, especially the arcade fun for the families that travel throughout New England to come down here. It's been a wonderful experience to go through it, and I want to also thank WestfordCAT, the staff, the production crew, for all they've done to help this be a success, and you, the viewing audience, for your continued sharing and liking of this program, which has brought about continued support. Thank you, and have a good day.